This is the 1 Million Lives podcast by Laerdal. Listen to healthcare professionals, healthcare educators, and survivors share their best practices and what they've learned from these experiences. At Laerdal, it's our goal to help save 1 million more lives every year by 2030. One life at a time.
Today's guest at the 1 Million Life podcast is Dr. Zoran, who is Chief Medical Officer and Head of Medical and Anti-Doping Unit at UEFA, the European Football Association. And today we're going to talk about a project that ended up training tens of thousands of football fans in CPR during the European Football Championship for Men in Germany, the Euro 2024. But before we start, who are you, Dr. Zoran? Tell us a bit about your background.
First, thank you for inviting me here, and thank you for giving me opportunity to talk to your listeners and viewers about this phenomenal campaign and project that has been done together with the European Resuscitation Council. I'm Zoran. I am a simple person that was in life quite lucky, I would say, to be here. Or I have a theory, this great deity Kairos. So that's a very fast god of opportunity or lucky moment, if you wish. He was extremely fast, and he had this long, he was otherwise bald like myself, but he had this long blonde tuft, and this god of opportunity or lucky moment was running fast. And if you see him and grab by this tuft, you have a split second or moment to do it, then you seize your opportunity. I think in a sense that seize your opportunity comes from there. So I was lucky enough to seize my opportunity, recognize and seize my opportunities in my life. For 30 years, I've been a pediatric surgeon in Children's Hospital Zagreb, and I'm also I have a multiple personality disorder, because at the same time I was a national team doctor of national team Croatia 30 years. I was doping control officer, member of UEFA medical committee, and I have three passions in my life. First and foremost is my family, and then medicine and football.
Let's go back to the start here. How does this idea of training football fans in CPR come about?
So obviously during Euro 2020 happening in 21, there was this famous incident with Eriksen, and we were thinking, Eriksen did survive, or the favorable outcome was a result of great professionals that were there, and that they were provided with the great equipment, but people very rarely ask them who put them there. Were they there only to watch the match? They were there on purpose, and it's UEFA minimum medical requirements that are in place for more than 20 years now. So way before my time, I'm just using this opportunity to show off. So in every of 3,000 plus matches, there is minimum medical requirements. So there is at least one AED, at least one bag valve mask, at least one stretcher, scoop, basket carrier, or at least one bedside emergency doctor. And we were thinking, obviously, we as UEFA did a good job and especially in education of doctors, because you see more and more favorable outcomes in the cases of sudden cardiac arrest in football players, number of them in the last few years. We are talking about healthy people that are otherwise healthy, that previously have been examined many, many times in their life, and outcome should always be that we managed to save their lives. And we were thinking we did such a great job doing this without any false modesty. We did such a great job, but we should do something for spectators, because obviously more and more it became obvious that sudden cardiac arrest is happening more often to the others than to the football players. Like I would say 50 to 100 times more often. We started seeking, there was this idea of campaign that shyly showed up, and we started seeking for a partner. And as we usually partner with the top European professional organizations for a certain area, we reached out to European Resuscitation Councils because we are experts in football, but they are experts in resuscitation. That's one. Same time while we started our talks with them, which was back in July, August 22, so not so far back, the Javier Ledesma, the goalkeeper of Cadiz, showed us the way. There was this match I think it was Cadiz versus Real, not 100% sure, but the spectator on stands collapsed, and he ran to the benches and picked up one AED and throwed it to the rescuers there. And this was that's what we can do. We can throw our knowledge to the public. And then when we started doing this, shyly started doing this campaign, I have to say, not even many of us believed it will be so successful because it has never been done on such scale and something like this. It's connected to a number of challenges, but together with ERC, we overcame all of them. And the campaign was beyond any dreams, I would say. So we were talking, we'll be lucky with a couple of thousands educated. We will dream about 111,111 because it was a sexy number. So we put it as a goal. At the end, we ended up training more than 887 people, and that's a number from December. So probably the newest number is even closer to 200. We also end up changing campaign to ongoing project, but we'll talk about it a little bit.
And these 200, they were the instructors.
200,000, you mean?
Oh, was it 200,000? Okay.
183,887. So let me say it again. 183,887. Closer to 200,000 people. No, these were regular people.
This is just amazing. How was it done? If you go down to the nitty-gritty practical level here.
It was obviously we did couple of levels. So around 9,100, close to 10,000 now with stations. We trained proper 45-minute goal course. That's course that was designed by ERC experts with our help as advisors. And that's a course in which 45 minutes people are trained how to do CPR. So just very basic CPR and use of AED, automated external defibrillator. And we did it in all teams. First of all, we started with UEFA employees. So we trained all 800 at the time employees of UEFA. We trained around 200 employees of Euro 2024. So that's like in-person course, 45 minutes. We trained all the teams of all the finals in this year. So all under 17, under 19 boys and girls. First actually was Finalissima back in early 23, I think April 23. And then we trained all the under 21 teams and all participants of Euro 2024. So all 24 teams, all players, all doctors, all staff was trained. But the idea was not to train players because players don't need it at pitch. They have 3 doctors usually, and I don't know how many physios within 10 seconds from the event. The idea was to send a message to everybody else. It's easy. You can do it. So some almost, let me check correct number. 85,000 people were trained via online module. That was the second biggest challenge, how to create the interesting, simple, short module that people can do it. We did it together with some stars, football stars, former and present football stars, and we draw attention of 85,000 people who completed with incredible completion rate of 62%. That's almost, which means 62% of those who started it completed it. This is almost unheard of in present Instagram world, where all the people have this, and you have 2 seconds. And they completed all this, which is great. Additionally, we did train some, official number is 38,000 during Euro 2024 in booths. So we had in each a fun zone, we had the booth for supporters in which volunteers trained by ERC were providing supporters with short courses, and then their gamification helped a lot. And I have to especially thank Laerdal for being actually turning from a supporter to partner in this Euro. It was amazing to see how they became really partner of these fun booths, and they were engaged, and guys from Laerdal, especially Kelsey and Rebecca, were, there was this online group, WhatsApp group we exchanged. There is a problem in, Leipzig, who is closest? And then they would say they just became, and they provided this game. They modified it for Euro, to football and to Euro. And that was a tremendous success. And so official number is 38,000, because we decided we're going to use only those we can show you and prove. But unofficially, it was more than 46,000 because we had some glitch in connection at the beginning. So we lost some 8,000 people that were trained. But you will have to trust me in my word. And then also, we use social media. So some people were trained over Instagram. I didn't even know when we started this is possible, using player bots. So they would be trained by famous players that were partner of this, using basically similar thing like our online module. So I'm trying to check this number, almost impossible, but I can give you some numbers which I have no clue what they mean, but I'm sure some communication expert will tell you. I'm looking at my screen. So total engagements was 4.5 million. Total people reach was 304 millions, and total impressions, amazing, stunning, 4.8 billion. So we have touched almost 5 billion people with this, which was great. You know what was the fun fact? Even the journalists who traditionally write anything that comes from UEFA, they kill it. They actually wrote positively about this.
So for those who haven't been to a fan zone, I had the opportunity to be present at the fan zone in London when there was sort of like a dry run, to try that everything worked. What happens in a fan zone like this? This is a place where fans gather before the match, and
yeah, of course, there is a we have to. Euro became like a full around experience, like a 360. First of all, not only fans that have tickets travel to places, venues. There are many, or maybe even more without tickets. They watch matches in fan zones. So first, there are public viewing spaces. Of course, it is our responsibility together with partners to provide them with the social program. So it's you will start usually 10, 11 in the morning and last until the end of the match. So people in Munich were watching matches in Frankfurt or Leipzig, There was this live viewing, and there was a whole day program of matches. But in between matches, you have to offer something. And then you have these nice booths. And we actually, UEFA have financed 10 booths that were designed and done very professionally, and with the huge support of volunteers and German ERC, of course, and through European Resuscitation Council, German Resuscitation Council. And then volunteers were there, and they were inviting people to come. They were engaging with people. They were showing them how to train, how to do the chest compressions, CPR. We provided, I don't know how many million chest compressions during the Europe, while we were preparing these booths, we had to offer something engaging to the spectators. And I have to say, I was against competition because I didn't like this. How can we compete in saving lives and so on? And we didn't provide. So it was half. We met on a half. I would say. We never provide any awards because in saving lives, award is the life you saved. We shouldn't be giving awards for this. So we can't, but still we needed something funny. And then Laerdal came with this game. Actually, they did have this game, and we contacted Laerdal, and they joined us as a partner, and they were officially partner of the Fun Zone booths, and they redesigned the whole thing to create the football competition. So basically, funds were there, and they use this human nature. Then when those people who are watching sports are in nature competitive, the moment you give them chance to compete, they will compete against each other. So there were these 4 mannequins connected through a tablet to a television and through online, and we were getting all sorts of data for the quality of compressions. And I have to tell you, we are amazed how just a few minutes of education training before this competition, how good quality of compressions were delivered and how good and engaged people were. So I'm telling you, 46,000 people actually did it, tried. And you know what? Kids were amazing. There was many of them were just kids and youngsters, and amazing.
You're listening to 1 Million Lives, a Laerdal podcast.
Have you done CPR before? Oh, fantastic. So you know how to sort your hands out? Nice straight arms. Yeah. The heel of your hand into the center of the chest. And your shoulders over the chest. Okay, so everybody just listening, okay, for a minute. To win the game, you have to have a good depth and a good speed. So you have to have the arrow in the green, and you have to get a light up both ends. So this is the speed.
Okay. Top track.
So as you push down, you can see that the white bar goes all the way down and all the way up. All the way down. Go!
For those who haven't seen this, what happened is that, there were like 4 mannequins. And first, there was like a run-through of how things worked. And
there were also 2 mannequins aside for training purposes.
Exactly. And they were also encouraged in advance to go through the online course.
Yes, exactly.
And then before the actually game started, you had to choose a country.
Oh, yeah, that was the other thing. Yeah, exactly.
You had, if you had mannequin number 1, you could choose what national shirt football player number 1
will wear
on the screen should wear.
Yeah, we were thinking of competition between countries and between different fun zones, but that would actually turn this to a completely different thing. We really wanted to concentrate on a positive message. You don't need a award. There are no winners. Winners are those who save life. Everybody who joined this game was a winner. And we celebrated every result. And funny how many people returned back because they were not happy with their result to improve it. The idea was we wanted to demystify the chest compressions because in all honesty, until ambulance arrives, everything you need is chest compressions. You need to keep heart going and delivering blood to brain in initial 10, 15 minutes until the ambulance arrives. If you can accompany it by AED, there was also possibility to train this there because we had training AEDs, but people should not rely completely AED. They need to start chest compressions. End of story. first things come first. We need to follow the chain of survival. And by this, we promoted chain of survival by ERC. And really that every step is important. And that was the idea behind the training. And also idea was, in this today's world, it's very difficult to catch attention of people, especially young people. So I'm proud that we managed this, because their attention span, when I was young, and that was many decades ago, that was 30 seconds. Today is 2 seconds, because they scroll through Instagram, Twitter, whatever. You need to do something sexy to catch their attention. And we managed. And it also showed that if you give them a proper cause, people will be engaged.
And of course, this gamification, creating this into a game per se, and games, people are young people, but surprisingly many adult people are also very engaged in, online gaming and stuff. And we can't really compare this project with the gaming thing, but there was a gaming element as well, because a thing like, for instance, it was set up to do so that you should do CPR, or basically heart compression, for 1 minute. And you could have chosen to have a big clock there, ticking down. But instead, you had 4 football players running with their football along a field. And you had figures, sharing them on the side. And the first one, and it was set up so that for every little mistake you did, if you did the compression too fast or too slow.
That's something I wanted to emphasize. It was not the fastest runner. It was actually the one who did best compression, so best pace, best quality, best power, best between certain range of deepness, because we know how. And by the quality of compressions, we judged the swiftness of the player. So player was not the one who was doing the fastest, but the one who was doing the best. And that player would at the end score the goal. So that's a winner.
So that was Euro 2024. What's next?
Amazingly, how many people came to us and said, we want to keep it as a legacy. But one important thing is clubs came to us, we want to do it. So you know what? Paris Saint-Germain did it already in July last year and promoted it over their social media to their supporters. And we realized there is a huge potential in the European Club Association, who has 700 clubs. At the moment, we have lined up clubs like PSV Eindhoven, Porto. Porto was actually the first after Paris Saint-Germain. Porto, PSV Eindhoven. We are in talks with some other clubs, all of them wanting to do it. And send the message. Idea is to move from UEFA, because we can reach it just as much in our social media. We will, of course, be engaged, but the clubs have even bigger and better local penetration. Clubs are interesting to do something for their area. So we created the project, 4-tier project for clubs, in which first tier is the easiest one, in which that only train first team and then put it on social media. And then there is a second, third, and fourth tier, in which they actually get engaged locally, and they actually with the local resuscitation council, one also very important thing. So we want to put clubs and local resuscitation councils in direct contact, and then it becomes self-sustainable and living organism, in which it continues to grow without our push or control. UEFA and European Resuscitation Council, of course, will monitor this, but this is actually becomes like a self-sustainable perpetuum mobile. We will push eventually, we will put it when there are bigger clubs or bigger occasions on our social media, but it makes much more sense if it's done through, say, social media of Porto, who has a huge impact on their local community, or Eindhoven, or I don't know. And also there are clubs that are very much internationally known that will have a huge impact on the world.
And what about the female European Championship in Switzerland?
We are finishing now the say construction of this. Female championship will have less permanent zones. So zones are done in a different way. They will be open for 2-3 days, not for 30 days in a row or 50 like it was case in Euro. So we came to the idea to put these boots, same boots like there, or very similar, on trucks and create mobile boots. So we will, the things look now, the way the things look now, we will have 2 mobile boots that will move from one part of Switzerland to the other and visit the venues when there is a one day before the match or 2 days before the match when the fun zones are busiest, with the mobile crews doing basically the same thing. Lower scale, obviously, because, as I said, we don't have such intense fun zones, but still, there will be a lot of potential. We will train volunteers. We will reach out to like we did for Euro, all the volunteers we trained. Our module will be part of education of all the stewards and volunteers, which is tens of thousands of people. Idea is that none of the stewards to the matches can come without being trained, at least theoretically, with this 4-minute course, or being aware that they need to start chest compressions. They need to recognize sudden cardiac arrest.
Thank you, Dr. Zoran. This has been a very interesting conversation and very inspiring because, as you said, this is just the start.
We want to keep it ongoing. We are already in talks with organizers of Euro in 5 countries, original countries, so UK and Ireland. And they are very much interested to have a similar project on fun boots there. So we are really looking forward to this. We want to do it. I mean, obviously with UK Resus there as a member of ERC, and I know that they are very engaged. So I think it will be easy peasy with our experience. But we want to keep it ongoing at least until then. And in between, we will keep attention spent through the clubs.
And it's a way of giving something back to the fans. And without them, you won't exist.
It's, I think, the way that any socially responsible environment should work. It's our way to say, UEFA understands that football is at the moment one of the strongest, if not the strongest, platforms to send different messages. We have to, of course, be aware that we cannot, if we dilute it with hundreds of messages, then we're going to lose momentum. But if we choose right the messages we are sending, every now and then we can save some lives. I don't know how on earth they did this calculation, but there is a calculation that by training more than 180,000 people, Bjorn, once again, thousands, we saved 6,889 lives by now. Don't ask me now how they calculated this. There are much more clever people than me to do that, but that's the calculation. That's a public, I would say, number.
Thank you very much, Zoran. This has been a pleasure. I hope to meet you again at some time.
Thank you so much. So for your viewers, get trained, save lives. 1 and 2, visit get-trained.com or get-trained.com and do a very short course that might save somebody's life, and make sure that people around also did it, because you might need it. I made sure that my family, all of them, did it, because you know what? I would say the most obvious suspect.
Thank you.
You have been listening to a 1 Million Lives podcast by Laerdal. You can find all our podcasts and access any bonus material on laerdal.com/podcast. The views, information, or opinions expressed are those of the guests and do not necessarily represent those of the institution they are affiliated with or of Laerdal Medical. If you have any suggestions for guests or topics we should cover, please send us a message on laerdal.com/podcast. We look forward to hearing from you.
Until the next time, goodbye from the Laerdal podcast team.